On December 29, 2019, the world was stunned by the audacious escape of Carlos Ghosn, the former CEO of Nissan and Renault, who fled from Japan's heavily guarded justice system in a meticulously orchestrated operation that seemed straight out of a Hollywood thriller. Concealed with a specifically modified musical equipment box, Ghosn slipped through security at one of the most secure facilities in the world. His escape not only exposed the vulnerabilities of the Japanese legal system, but also sparked a global manhunt, diplomatic tensions, and a media frenzy that would cement his place in history as one of the most notorious fugitives of the 21st century. Carlos Ghosn was a name synonymous with corporate success and global influence. A titan of the automotive industry, Ghosn had engineered the remarkable turnaround of Nissan and Renault, earning him the moniker "That Cost Killer" for his relentless pursuit of efficiency and profitability. But behind the veneer of corporate success, a tempest was brewing that would soon engulf Ghosn in one of the most dramatic falls from grace the business world had ever seen. In November 2018, Ghosn was arrested in Tokyo on charges of financial misconduct, including underreporting his earnings and misusing company assets. What followed was a prolonged legal battle as Ghosn vehemently denied the charges, accusing Nissan executives and the Japanese authorities of orchestrating a coup to oust him. Placed under strict house arrest, Ghosn's life became a daily struggle against a legal system that boasted a conviction rate of over 99%. Ghosn's legal troubles were only the beginning of a saga that would culminate in one of the most remarkable escapes ever orchestrated. In December 2019, while out on bail and under strict surveillance, Ghosn managed to flee Japan, evading authorities and international scrutiny. His escape, carried out with the help of a private security team, involved smuggling him out of the country in a box used for musical equipment. The escape was not only a dramatic turn in Ghosn's story, but also a bold statement against what he described as Japan's hostage justice system. As the months dragged on, Ghosn grew increasingly desperate. The prospect of a fair trial seemed remote, and the likelihood of spending the rest of his life in a Japanese prison loomed large. It was in this context that Ghosn began to contemplate the unthinkable: escape. But not just any escape. Ghosn would have to flee from one of the most tightly controlled environments in the world, eluding both physical and electronic surveillance. Carlos Ghosn's downfall started with an extravagant company-funded party at the Palace of Versailles in 2014 on his 60th birthday. His lavish lifestyle and the millions spent on luxury homes and a yacht were increasingly attracting attention. Carlos Ghosn's troubles began on November 19, 2018, when Tokyo district prosecutors arrested him upon his re-entry into Japan aboard a private jet at 4:30 p.m. Ghosn was accused of falsifying financial reports by underreporting his compensation and misusing company assets for personal gain. Alongside Ghosn, Greg Kelly, a Nissan director and former head of human resources, was also arrested. The arrests were part of an internal investigation by Nissan, which had uncovered evidence of Ghosn's alleged misconduct. Nissan's chief executive, Hiroto Sakawa, announced Ghosn's dismissal from the company's board, expressing deep disappointment and outrage at Ghosn's conduct. Sakawa alleged that Ghosn had used company funds to purchase luxury residences in Rio de Janeiro, Beirut, Paris, and Amsterdam, and had charged personal vacation expenses to Nissan. The most damning accusation was that Ghosn had underreported his income by approximately $80 million over several years, violating Japanese security laws. Ghosn was detained at the Tokyo detention house, where Japanese law allowed for suspects to be held for up to 23 days without formal charges. During this time, Ghosn was subjected to intense interrogation, with limited access to legal counsel and minimal contact with his family. The Japanese legal system, known for its high conviction rates, placed Ghosn in a precarious position, with little hope for a fair trial. On December 21, 2018, Ghosn was rearrested on new charges, this time involving the shifting of personal financial losses to Nissan. The charges stem from a $16.6 million loss related to a personal swap contract during the 2008 global financial crisis. In exchange for a letter of credit from a Saudi businessman, Nissan had allegedly paid $14.7 million to a company owned by the businessman, a transaction that prosecutors claimed was illegal. Ghosn's detention was extended multiple times as new charges were brought against him, including aggravated breach of trust and further allegations of underreporting his income. The extended detention, coupled with the harsh conditions in the Tokyo detention house, led to growing concerns about Japan's legal system, which critics labeled as hostage justice. Ghosn's repeated appeals for bail were denied, and his imprisonment continued, with the prospect of a fair trial seeming increasingly unlikely. As Ghosn's legal troubles mounted, the implications for the Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance grew more complex. In January 2019, Jose Munoz, Nissan's chief performance officer and a close ally of Ghosn, resigned from the company amid the ongoing investigation. The French government, initially supportive of Ghosn, began to distance itself from him, with France's financial minister suggesting that Renault might seek a new CEO. Ghosn's legal team, led by high-profile attorney Junichiro Hironaka, known for defending clients in high-stakes cases, continued to fight for his release. In March 2019, Ghosn was granted bail under strict conditions, including 24-hour surveillance and restrictions on his communication. However, his freedom was short-lived. In April 2019, he was rearrested on new charges related to financial misconduct in Oman. The repeated arrests and the stringent bail conditions led Ghosn to lose faith in the Japanese legal system. He began to see his legal battle as not just a fight for his freedom, but a battle against what he perceived as a corrupt and unfair judicial process. Ghosn's dissatisfaction with the system, coupled with his growing fears of a lengthy imprisonment, set the stage for the dramatic events that would follow. By late 2019, Carlos Ghosn, the former chairman of Nissan-Renault-Mitsubishi Alliance, had spent over a year in the House of Tokyo. Despite being out on bail, he was under constant surveillance, and the prospects of a fair trial seemed increasingly remote. Frustrated and desperate, Ghosn began to contemplate the unthinkable: escaping Japan. The plan to smuggle Carlos Ghosn out of Japan was as audacious as it was complex. Ghosn's escape involved a team of operatives, mercenaries, former soldiers, and loyal confidants. It also included former U.S. Green Berets and private security experts who devised a plan to smuggle him out of Japan undetected. At the center of the plot was Michael Taylor, a former Green Beret with extensive experience in covert operations. Taylor, along with his son Peter, would play a pivotal role in executing the daring escape. The plan to orchestrate Carlos Ghosn's escape hinged on exploiting a loophole in the security procedures at private airports in Japan. Large cargo items were not subjected to the same level of scrutiny as passengers, providing a potential way to smuggle Ghosn out of the country. The key to this operation was a large black box, typically used for transporting musical equipment, which was specifically modified with air holes and padding to accommodate Ghosn as he was hidden from view. To ensure the plan's success, the operatives conducted several dry runs, meticulously refining every detail. Ghosn's escape was scheduled for December 29, 2019, a day when security at the airport was expected to be more relaxed due to the New Year's holiday. Ghosn discovered that when media came around to check out his situation, minders disappeared for a few days. Prior to taking leave, he planned on calling in the media. This was conveyed to Taylor via an untraceable burner phone purchased on the black market. Fearing his home was bugged, Ghosn conversed in the bathroom, with a shower running and a radio blasting. On the day of the escape, December 29th, Michael Taylor landed in Osaka on a flight from the U.S. He checked into an Osaka hotel before proceeding to the Grand Hyatt in Tokyo. Taylor and his associate, George Antoine Zayek, arrived at Ghahn's residence disguised as a musician. They brought with them the large black box, ostensibly intended for a concert performance. Given Ghahn's previous movements and the seemingly innocuous nature of the visit, the security guards, who had grown complacent, allowed the box to pass through without a thorough inspection. On the day of the escape, Carlos called in the media. With journalists having unwittingly cleared the coast, Ghosn slipped out of his house unnoticed. He met Taylor in room 933 at the Hyatt, where Ghosn was briefed on the final details of the plan. At approximately 4:30 p.m. local time, Ghosn, Taylor, and Zayak caught a bullet train from Tokyo's Shinagawa Station at Osaka, a 2.5-hour ride. To reduce the risk of recognition, Ghosn wore a hat and covered his face with a surgical mask, a common sight in Japan. In the hotel room there, he was loaded into a large box, 48 inches by 30 inches by 24 inches, with air holes drilled into the bottom. This was no different from a military operation, Taylor said in the doc. We needed to be in and out of Japan in one day. Aided by Taylor's son Peter, Ghosn was transported to Osaka's private airport. To make things look good, Mike Taylor placed a guitar on top of the case with Ghosn in it. Upon arrival in Osaka, the three men went to a hotel near the airport. A few hours later, Taylor and Zayak left for the airport, but there was no sign of Ghosn. At the airport, the box containing Ghosn was loaded onto a private jet bound for Istanbul, Turkey. The plan's success hinged on the fact that the box was too large to fit through the airport's X-ray scanners, allowing it to bypass the security checks. Ghosn later described this part of the escape to the BBC. The plane was scheduled to take off at 11 p.m. The 30 minutes waiting in the box on the plane, waiting for it to take off, was probably the longest wait I've ever experienced in my life. In total, he would spend about 90 minutes inside the box. At 11:10 p.m., the Bombardier jet took off from Kansai International Airport, bound for Istanbul, Turkey. The flight path was carefully chosen to avoid countries with extradition treaties with Japan. Instead of taking the most direct route, the plane headed north by northwest, avoiding South Korea and then crossing into Russian airspace, where it remained for almost its entire journey. After a 12-hour flight, the jet landed at Istanbul's Ataturk Airport around 5:30 a.m. local time on December 30th. Even during his layover, Ghosn reportedly remained hidden in the box to avoid detection. In Istanbul, Ghosn was transferred to another private jet, a shorter-range Bombardier. The second plane took off shortly after for the brief flight to Beirut, Lebanon. In the early hours of December 30th, 2019, Ghosn arrived in Beirut, Lebanon, a country that does not have an extradition treaty with Japan. Despite his unorthodox travel arrangements, Ghosn entered Lebanon legally, using a French passport and a Lebanese identity card. The escape was a success. By the time Japanese authorities realized what had happened, Ghosn was already in Lebanon, out of their reach. When news of Ghahn's escape broke, it sent shockwaves through the global media. How had a man under such intense scrutiny managed to evade the authorities and flee halfway across the world? The news of Ghahn's escape embarrassed Japanese authorities, who were left scrambling to explain how one of the most high-profile detainees in the country had managed to slip through their fingers. The details of his escape began to emerge, piece by piece, painting a picture of a meticulously planned operation that exploited weaknesses in Japan's legal and security systems. The consequences of Ghahn's escape were immediate and far-reaching. The Japanese government was outraged, launching an international manhunt and demanding that Lebanon extradite Ghosn. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe faced mounting pressure both domestically and internationally to explain how such a high-profile figure had managed to flee the country. The incident also led to a diplomatic rift between Japan and Lebanon, with the latter refusing to extradite Ghosn. Taylor became a wanted man because authorities were able to trace his movements through Istanbul airport after he successfully returned Ghosn to Lebanon. In the United States, Michael Taylor and his son Peter were arrested and later extradited to Japan, where they were convicted of aiding Ghahn's escape. Michael Taylor and his son pled guilty. Michael Taylor was sentenced to 2 years in prison, while Peter received a sentence of 1 year and 8 months. The case also cast a spotlight on the harsh conditions of Japan's legal system, which many critics argued was overly punitive and biased against foreign defendants. Meanwhile, Carlos Ghosn became a symbol of resistance against what he described as a rigged justice system. Ghosn, now a fugitive, became a symbol of defiance against what many viewed as Japan's draconian legal system. He held press conferences, wrote a book, and continued to assert his innocence, claiming that he was the victim of a conspiracy by Nissan executives and Japanese authorities. As the world debated whether Ghosn was a hero or a villain, his life in Lebanon took on a surreal quality. Protected by the Lebanese government and supported by a network of loyalists, Ghosn lived in relative comfort, far removed from the legal troubles that had once threatened to destroy him. But he was also a fugitive, unable to travel freely and constantly under the threat of renewed legal action. The escape of Carlos Ghosn also had a profound impact on the automotive industry. Nissan and Renault, the companies he had once led to unprecedented success, were left reeling from the scandal. Nissan's stock plummeted, and the company struggled to recover from the fallout of Ghosn's departure. The Renault-Nissan-Mitsubishi alliance, once a symbol of global cooperation and innovation, was left in disarray. The escape left many questions unanswered and created new tensions. The Taylors, who served time in Japanese prison for their role in the escape, claimed they were never paid by Ghosn for their work. Michael Taylor, in particular, expressed resentment towards Ghosn, stating in a documentary, "I heard nothing from Carlos the entire time we were in jail. If someone saved my life, I'd be doing everything I can to help." As Ghosn continues to live in Lebanon, his story serves as a reminder that the line between hero and villain are often blurred. To some, he is a symbol of resistance against injustice. To others, he is a fugitive who escaped accountability. But regardless of one's perspective, there is no denying that the escape of Carlos Ghosn is one of the most extraordinary events of our time, a story that will be remembered for generations to come. As the dust settles on this extraordinary episode, the questions it raises about justice, corporate power, and the nature of truth remain as relevant as ever. Carlos Ghosn may have escaped Japan, but the legacy of his actions will continue to resonate in boardrooms, courtrooms, and living rooms around the world for years to come. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to Breakout Bank for more videos.